In this tutorial, I get to show you how to create this beautiful vertical layering technique. This is a soft, versatile shape that is worn on a variety of different age groups. Very popular haircut right now. This is a beautiful salon-friendly technique. Let's begin this technique. So firstly, I'm going to be starting off with my large cutting comb. I'm going to be doing most of the work with my wide end of the tooth comb and maybe refining a couple of sections with the fine end. I'm also choosing my 6.5 inch blade. Okay, on this occasion I'm using the quartered steel. This is the Diaz scissor. So myself and Yaz have been having this discussion on what to do with her hair. My first introduction to Yaz was her hair was really long, and I've gone and we cut it up to here. She showed me a reference point where she wanted to go to. We left it a tiny bit longer. I'm going to do a vertical layering technique, but I'm also going to take a horseshoe section through the top areas, subdivide some hair away in order for me to kind of piece by piece put this puzzle together and show you what to do. Okay, so let's begin with a center parting right the way through the middle of the center of the head. So I always take my parting, I look down upon the nose, come up through the forehead and use the first tooth of my comb, put my finger behind my comb and drag it through to the top. This becomes my radium. So this is the top where the head starts to curve around. So I take it towards the radial and then I take a parting right the way through the middle of the head. Again, put my finger behind the comb and take it right the way down to the bottom. I then grab my finger at the end of the comb, pinch the hair and separate. Comb one side, hold the other side with my fingers and comb the other side away. So what I'm trying to do here is actually try and divide the hair up in such a way that I kind of piece it up in order for me to work in different sections, and it's easier for me to see the sections develop, see the length develop, and also it's just a bit easier to kind of construct it that way. So I'm mapping out my haircut, if you will. I'm going to take a diagonal forward section which comes all the way around into the recession area. So what I'm going to do, let me just twist the hair. I'm going to roll this around underneath that section. I'm going to pinch. That helps me get a nice clean section. These are cutting clips, so they're not that strong. They're strong enough, but it's easier to use your section clips in that way. So diagonal forward right the way onto recessional line on the opposite side. Twist the hair around and come underneath. Grab some of the hair with my clip, bend it. That's my tension, and hold that away. So I'm going to find my first vertical profile section. So I take my profile section right the way through the middle of the head. Maybe that's a little bit too big. So on this occasion, it's like a thinner section. I'm going to start right the way through the middle of the head. I'm going to be taking about 3 inches off here as I work through. So my vertical layer starts approximately around here, right? So I'm going to take off about 3 inches, that top area there. And I'm going to point cut this. And I'm going to pivot, I'm going to work parallel sections, and I'm going to comb from behind onto my next section and elevate directly out from the head. Vertically out from the head there. See my guide, work it into the lower area. So bearing in mind, as I'm working through this, my distribution is vertical to the back of the head, but if I'm coming this way, it's going to be cut square to the back of the head. So this is going to be a square line. When I cut this section, I then move it to the sides and I use that to go into the front areas. So making sure this is coming directly square to the back of the head. Parallel to that section, I'm going to start over directing. As the head starts curving around, it's going to be over directed back square to the back of the head. Not over directed into the back, my first section, over directed square to the back of the head. I'm going to do this, continue this section until I reach the ear. My cutting line is point cutting, so it creates more softness. Drops on top of my section underneath. Take my guide, get my line, that's perfect. So you see the way I cross-check that? I cross-check it by coming right the way across the middle of the section. I check my line. So as you can see, the weight buildup is going to be building up there a little bit more. So the idea is now to come in this way and cut the same section. Just for viewing, what I'm going to do is stand this side, just so you can see what I'm doing. Get my cut line. So working parallel until I reach the ear. Parallel here, and my over direction as I'm curving around, the head's curving around, it's starting to be over directed back. Over directing means you're going to keep and preserve weight and length in hair. Bearing in mind this is a vertical line. So square being square to the back of the head there, should come this way. Like it shouldn't be there, it should be more like this. So bearing in mind if there's a plank of wood at the side of the head, come in that way. So what I got to do now is really check the balance, make sure that I'm happy with this all the way through the middle of the head. I get my nice line. Now we're going to blend in the sides. So the sides are going to come up a bit shorter. I'm going to do some face framing layers all the way through the front. So this is going to come away. So I've been mindful about where we're going with this, because the hairline now is exposed here. So in order for me to preserve this length, I need to take these sections and bring it back to behind the ear, to this point here. I need to come to that point in order to preserve, because otherwise this, if I bring this directly out, this will appear up here. So the length will come up and around. So on this occasion, you might even want to invert this up a bit more. Let me show you. You might want to bring the angle up a bit more. And what's that going to do? It's going to safeguard your length to make sure that your length stays a little bit longer. You can take it away afterwards. But for me, I'm going to take it away anyway, because I've got to bring that length up anyway. I'm going to take a little piece from here and I'm going to over direct it onto this line here. So this got over directed here. I took this guide, moved it here, then I'm going to over direct it onto this. So it gradually gets longer through the front. The same is going to be repeated on this side. So I'm going to take a piece, I'm going to over direct it onto this line here, where it comes all the way down into the nape. I'm going to point cut that away. You take a little piece from that, comb that away, and you bring this back onto that. Now it's important to check by feel where your lengths are going to. I'm going to release the top areas. So my objective here now is to continue that vertical profile line all the way up to my radial section. And I'm just going to curve this through the top a tiny bit, okay? So I'm going to expose this so we can all see it. Profile vertical section. Okay. So vertically out to the top, and I'm going to pivot from a radial section, making sure that my distribution was square to the back of the head. So it gives me this fluid shape, it all blends through. To the top of the ear, over directing it back. To my vertical line, square to the back of the head. Corner off to create the seamless. I position myself over here, so my body position now becomes on the side of the head. I'm going to take my guide, my next section, and I'm going to work towards the front hairline. Elevate up, take that corner off. So what you will find is, if you were to look at this line from this way, it's more like this. So slightly over directing it back, sending it forward. Amazing. So the line is almost coming this way a little bit more. So now I'm going to repeat this all the way through this side. Take the seamless off that. Distribution square to the back of the head. Until I reach my ear, this is going to be cut square to the back of the head. Be mindful about being consistent on both sides. So now I take a piece from here, from behind the ear, and I take a piece from a new cut section. I want to go through and establish my face frame. I'm going to leave the length right until the end. We decided to take this up a good bit the last time. We'll do the same again. We're going to curve this around and down into the rest of the hair. So we're going to start with a little triangle to the recession line on both sides. So we work on that section like a triangle coming out to both recession line. I'm going to point my way up to that area. I'm going to comb everything forward again. My fingers adjust. Now, lots of people struggle doing this movement. And I share this with you because it's frequently covered in classes. So I wanted to share it with you. So in order to get comfortable, you need to push yourself into positions where they feel uncomfortable, right? Practice and learn. Like I said, it may feel comfortable, or you may gravitate to cutting a specific way. If you're just so used to coming down this way, you need to change what you do in order to achieve something different. So I take my guide, and this way I'm going slightly different, right? So I've got my guide there. I'm going to comb this down, and I'm going to angle my fingers this way. This is the direction I want to go in. I've got my guide there. You can see my guide. And I cut that in. So I'm going to take my guide from where my triangle is all the way down to the top of the ear right now. I'm going to secure that away. I'm going to comb all this forward. I'm going to comb the hair forward. And I know my line here, so this is where I need to go to. Okay, going to that line, all the way down to the bottom. Okay, great. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. I'm going to take a diagonal back to the top of the ear. I'm going to comb all that forward. So now I'm going to cut the length. So I'm going to subdivide the hair in the middle. And I've possibly got about 2 sections here, if not maybe 1 or 2 sections. Going to clip that out the way. We were here the last time. So I always take the guide, we look in the mirror, we know where we're going to, and then I bring this comb right the way around the back. So I know where my length needs to be. I take a little guide, and I know I'm using that as my guide throughout this haircut now. I'm going to cut it through my fingers because at this stage we're going to be softening it out. We're not going to be worrying too much about graduation, but I'm going to do it as 0 graduation, as much as 0 graduation, finger depth graduation, shall I say, as possible. So finger depth. So now the heel of my scissor, the heel of my fingers will now angle out towards the front, towards the other side. So we're going to work our way up the head. Maybe this is our last section, or maybe not, we'll see. Working my way in here, keeping my fingers pointing down towards the front face. We're trying to create softness all the way through this. And I'm going to continue that line. So I was standing at the back here. Now I'm going to stand on the side. I've got my line, and the line continues going down and descends onto the front hairline. This goes all the way through to the front hairline as well on this side. Square at the back and then through the sides. It descends forward, right? We'll release the rest of the hair. Don't think there's any hair coming off there now. So it's 3 sections. I think I lied. I said 2. So what I need to do here is now slice cut. I'm going to take this bit at the front because I know this is going to get heavier. Why? It's because it's the shortest bit. The shortest bit at the front generally will become the heaviest bit at the front because it's closer to the hairline. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pinch the hair. So I'm taking a section from either side, bring it into the middle, and I'm going to point cut in the middle of that section. So when it falls more like this. Okay, this angle here, so it comes out a little bit more that way. So pinch it into the middle, and I'm going to point cut. So you can do it that way. You can come a bit lower down. What that allows me to do, I'm just pinching little small pieces of hair. By pinching small pieces of hair, it becomes very delicate and soft rather than taking chunks. So I'm taking sections from my radial now. My radial section, I'm elevating everything up this way, and I'm going around and taking pieces of hair out. What this does, it really targets this area around here, that angle. So I'm point cutting through these areas. Let's do the same on the other side. So coming down as if I'm taking like a round layer technique. I'm going to take little bits out when it's wet. So let's begin this blow drying technique. I'm going to start by using this Netsu design Shumura. It's a really nice product. I'm going to give it a couple of squirts. You can see that. It's a really good hydrating product. Really smooths the hair out a little bit more. What I'm going to do is make sure that this gets right the way through, and I use my fingers, come underneath and drag it right the way through to the ends. I'm also going to double down with this Shiki worker. Really nice spray, oil-based spray, really nice, in order for us to get this more shine on the hair. It's a rich product, absorbs the wet molecule, so it basically speeds up your blow drying time, but makes the hair feel really rich and luxurious without much hold. I use these cutting clips. I've got lots of these. They're flat head, there's no grooves on them, so it's not going to leave any marks or demarcations on the hair. Really going to map this out first, actually, before I start clipping it out. Okay, so I'm going to come around this way, and then it comes back there and comes back in, and then comes back that way, and then, you know, so I get almost like this S shape. But what really trying to do, this S shape, there's layers all the way through this, so the layers kind of ping out there, and they'll ping out there. So for me, it's about trying to capture those little areas there. So that's it there. You don't have to be too like sterile with it, as in it doesn't have to be so rigid, because what you'll end up seeing are these like little areas starting to dry in, and you start encouraging them a little bit more. It's the same on this side. So I kind of want the symmetry, okay? I want to capture that symmetry. Get that in there so it secures that. It reduces the hair from sticking out too much. I'm going to go above that as well. I'm going to go there. This little flick at the front, let's secure that. Little area there at the front. You get this at the back. So what I'm going to try and do is try and get that shape in there. Okay, lovely. So this is the shape. Now I'm going to get my bag diffuser. For those of you that know this or don't know this, this is a YS Park bag diffuser, which is really good for diffusing hair. So it really neutralizes the airflow and just gives us a natural feeling, okay? So if you want to gel hair or make it really slick, this is a really good one to do, to dry it in. So the idea is to dry this almost like to about 80, 95%, and then I'm going to get my nozzle out and I'm going to encourage those little kinks and bumps that you have in the hair, okay? So you can move through and actually start, as the hair starts drying in, you can actually start taking some of the clips out. You want it dry, you need it dry in order for it to stay in its desired shape. So we are about 90%, 95% dry here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey with me to take this length up a little bit more. I'm going to use a razor. So this is a razor. One side is a little bit wider than the other. I'm going to use the fine end of the tooth on this one. So I'm just going to razor this off and bring this length up a little bit more. So as I work horizontal, it's going to take length away, and if I come vertically like this, it's going to take weight away. So just to bring this forward, and again, just going on the surface, you're gliding your blade just off the surface of this. So to finish off, I put my nozzle back on, okay? The little kinks in there, smooth it out a little bit more. You know, where that's kinking out, you know, you're kind of making sure that they're kind of confirmed and they're in place. I really hope you've liked this technique, and if you did, please leave a comment below.